All right. Today's topic is the red flags we ignored and the green flags we slept on.
I see. Which one are we starting with?
The first one is going to be the red flags we ignored. All right. Let's start with some self-dragging. What is the biggest red flag you completely ignored in a relationship?
Ooh. I think among the people that I've dated, the one that comes to mind first is I dated someone who's still like best friends with his ex, who he dated for years, and they were extremely close to the point where like they would hang out one-on-one all the time. Yeah, eventually that just got way too uncomfortable. I don't think they ever did anything again, but it's just a little strange.
It is a little strange.
Yeah. It's like one thing to stay in touch with an ex and like, like we haven't blocked each other. Like if they reach out, I might respond. Versus like actively maintaining a very close friendship.
Like I also get like, okay, maybe you guys are in the same friend group and it's like hard to like, cut them off completely and stuff like that. But like hanging out one-on-one is just really fucking weird to me. Yeah. Like why are you hanging one-on-one with your ex ever?
Let's like, why?
Why?
Why? What else are you getting from this experience?
I know. Like, that is strange.
Yeah, so.
That is a red flag.
Yep.
What is mine? I feel like I have not dated that many men.
Fair.
For like longer than like a month, really. I've only dated like 2 men longer than a month in my life.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. What is a red flag of the men I've dated? Honestly, I think one thing that I always come back to is like an interesting pattern of myself. Okay, maybe that's section. Maybe we'll pause on that for now because that's section 3. It's our red flags.
Oh, okay. I don't have any.
Red flag. I don't know. I feel like there was one guy that trauma dumped me on the first date. That was no bueno, but I feel like that was too short and it wasn't like a...
You didn't entertain it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't think of any right now. I think there's like general ones that I don't like, but nothing that I'm like personally experienced,
Fair.
Yeah, I feel like I'm very like, red flag, not about this. I'm out. Unless I'm in which case I'm in. Yeah. It would be interesting your take. What do you think about my exes? I guess you've only known
yeah.
I feel like there wasn't anything that was a blatant red flag.
Okay, well, to me, having an extremely close relationship with your mother is a red flag.
Really? I feel like I actively look for that.
I know, which is why I'm saying for me, but mama's boys are like, wee-woo.
What? I think it's so cute.
It makes me concerned.
Why?
I think because my brother is a mama's boy, I know what that means. It means that the mother has such a hold over them.
Yeah.
And, like, I think, again, it's a red flag for me because, like, there's a certain dynamic with family that I am comfortable with. And I think, like, oh, if they're a mama's boy, like, are we expected to go to their family every year for Christmas and their family every year for Thanksgiving? Like, you know?
Yeah. That's fair. I feel like, I think because my first relationship with my first ex, I grew up with that dynamic. So it was kind of like normalized for me. So I don't really mind it all too much. But okay, interesting. He's a mama's boy.
Yeah. So again, I think I saw that and I was like,
red flag. All right. Okay. I also asked some Instagram followers and see what their red flags were for men. Okay. I can go through some of the responses. Also, interestingly enough, I asked for women to respond to this.
And of course men respond.
Of course,
because I think everything is about them.
And literally, like, the first, like, 10 people were, like, 80%. Like, 8 of them were men. It was 2 women.
Okay, but also, what is the gender ratio of your close friends?
It's, like, pretty 50-50.
Okay.
If anything, more women.
Okay.
And then women started responding after.
I see.
First one, he's broke.
You know, I think I'll put it this way. If he's broke and taking active efforts to unbrokify himself and everything else is perfect, then not a red flag. If he's just a bum, red flag.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I could be a venture capitalist, you know?
Yeah, you're investing.
Yes.
It's like
yes.
dating a like med school student.
Yes.
Like, you're gonna make a lot of money later.
Yes. I'm okay paying for stuff now. You know, we can split everything 50-50.
Yeah. I'm not paying for more, but we'll split.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, I had a really interesting conversation about this where, like, I think my policy in relationships is always like, oh, as you get farther along, it makes sense to split things proportional to your annual pay. But then if you make the same amount as your partner, do you expect them to pay more?
No, I think I'm okay with me paying. It's the same. But I do think, just like love language wise, because I don't know, maybe if they like presents, like I'm more than happy to buy them presents and stuff like that, but I like presents for sure. And so I want nice things.
Yes.
And I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. But I think the better question is, if you made more than him,
Yeah.
is it still proportional to income? My answer's no.
Yeah.
It's always maxed out at 50-50.
Yeah.
Maybe 55-45 or something like that. Probably not. Probably just be 50-50.
I think the one area where I can see myself, like, maybe pulling a little more weight is if there's an activity that I want to do that's outside of their price range because they don't make that much yet. I think I'd be like, oh, I would at least be willing to subsidize. So, like, I'll pay 70% or something.
Yeah.
Because it's something I want to do and they don't care for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree. Alright, next thing. He talks only about himself or his ex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God, I feel like men who never ask me any questions, I'm just like... ugh.
You just like hearing the sound of your own voice.
I know. Yeah, I'm like, bro, do you not have other people to talk to this about? Like...
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I think for me, too, I like being asked, like... And this is just my personality. I like being asked deeper questions about, like... Oh, like, why do you enjoy this thing? Or, like... You know, versus just like, what do you like to do? So I think I would go a step farther and be like, oh, if they just ask like what I like to do, that doesn't count as asking about me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see that. I also feel like when a guy is talking about himself and his life sounds so boring, I'm just like, wow, you really haven't lived life, huh? I'm just like, that's when I'm like, oh, this is not gonna work out. I can already tell.
Interesting. I think I don't care too much about that. As long as they've thought profoundly about their boring life, that's okay. Like, if they're like, oh, I like to read, then I'll be like, you know, we delve farther into that line of thinking. And if they actually have an interesting perspective on, like, why they like to read and what they like to read, I'll be like, fine.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I can deal with that. I feel like I would get, as much as I would love a conversation, I would just get so bored with them. I remember I like went on a date with this guy, and he has actually done nothing with his life. He had literally a year between jobs where he just stayed in New York and stayed at home and played video games. And I was like, you had a year off and all you do is play video games?
Oh, was it like a non-compete?
I don't know. Maybe? I feel like he might have just had some issues. Or he just like got tired from Slash. I wanted a break, quit, and then had a new one.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think I've talked about this with you before too, but like, I think on that same line of thinking, like, if they, I don't know, I think my big measure is like, if I ask you to work at a cafe and you don't have anything you have to work on, and you're like, I don't have anything to do, that's like a red flag. Yeah. Because there is a lot you can do.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that goes back to like ambition.
Yeah.
Like, do they want more out of life? You know, it doesn't always have to be like the same buckets of things as you, but like the desire to better oneself is very important.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because when I think the word ambition, I tie it very much to like career and achievement versus like self-enrichment, which I think is the way you're using it.
I think there's like different buckets of like ambition. Like I think career is like the biggest one most would think of. I think there's also just like how much of like the world do you want to explore and like see is like one point, and not even just like from a child perspective, but like culturally and like stuff like that. And also then I think there's a self-improvement angle of just like, you know, are you really focused on like working on yourself? Like, do you want to like learn new things? Like how like you can improve yourself and stuff of this sort.
Yeah.
Anyways, third comment is not really a comment. It says there are so many red flags for men, girl.
True. But there's also a lot of red flags for women.
There's a lot of red flags for women. Using a 5-in-1 shampoo body wash. This is coming from a man too.
You know what? I can fix him.
Oh my god.
I can fix him. I'll show him the beauty of face wash.
You know, Oliver for the longest time used that, and I was just like, God damn.
I'm dead.
That's crazy.
That's why whenever I see a man who uses face wash, I'm like, someone cooked here.
No, when they wear sunscreen.
True.
Sunscreen is the someone's cooked here. Face wash, I understand, you know, because maybe you had like acne at some point. But no fucking man is wearing sunscreen if they have not dated before.
True.
Yeah. Also, I think it's just like so funny. I remember I was in Jamaica with Oliver, and like I had like a bunch of like little bottles out, but we only had one bottle for like shampoo that the person gave, right? Yeah. And he didn't know what my thing was, so he just used the shampoo for everything. His face wash, his body wash.
Oh my god.
And his hair. And you know, sometimes he's just like, I was like, when he showers, he told me he'll just like let it drip down, and it just washes everything. And I'm just like, you don't wash your body.
Oh my gosh, I saw this meme that was definitely targeted towards men, but it was like, so you're telling me that there are people who actually wash their legs and don't just let the body soap drip down? And I was like, that's disgusting.
That's crazy, Debbie. Oh my gosh, it's a red flag. Okay, this is an interesting one. Only child.
I think not a red flag, but it's a yellow flag.
Yeah.
There are things to be, or like things that make me cautious about only children, where I think especially if they're Asian only child, there's like such a thing about like your son, where I'm like, dude, he definitely has an ego. Like, he thinks he's fucking, like, special or something.
You know what I find interesting, though? I find that with only children, the women are fine. It's the men that are so fucked up. Or just, like, they have issues.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they're, like, a little spoiled. I think.
Yeah. Because I think, like, I don't know, again, in Asian culture, it's like, you're so excited to have a son that, like, they will give you everything.
Yeah.
And you think you're like the most important person there is, and you don't know how to share, you don't know how to take care of others. Like, not great.
Yeah. How do you feel about youngest son?
Oh, youngest son,
Interesting.
I feel like it's not a red flag.
Interesting. You don't find them like a little spoiled? Or is it better because they were forced to share with a sibling?
Let me think about this.
Like, I'm thinking specifically, like, youngest son to an older sister.
That's what I was just thinking about. Because I was like, I don't know. I think it really depends on the dynamic there then. Because I know older sisters who, like, fucking hate their younger brothers and are, like, absolute bitches to them. So, like, you know, I'm sure the younger brother there will be fine. And, like, is well-trained.
Yeah. That's true. I do think it's, like, with an older sister... It's almost like a net neutral because you're the youngest son and there's like things that come with that. But you had an older sister that kind of whipped you into shape.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that now you know that I don't have to tell you to deal with.
And it's like, oh, I feel like all of the older sisters I know are like, I'm going to tell him what a period is and like how women experience it so that they can like understand when their girlfriend is going through it.
Yes.
So.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I've only dated youngest brothers to older sisters.
What is my dating history? I've dated an oldest brother to a younger sister. And an only child Korean man.
Oh, I already know that's a toxic one.
Actually, was he an only child? No, I think he was an older brother. I think he had a younger brother who's really, like, it was, like, age gap with your sister. Like, a lot older.
Yeah.
And then a twin brother. Yeah. Everybody's had siblings.
Yeah, I feel like siblings make you normalized.
Yeah, you just, like, understand how to share.
Yeah. It's such, like, a basic thing, but it's so true.
Yeah. I also think, like... I mean, I wasn't thinking about this back then, but now as I'm thinking about it, is, like... If you have a sibling, you also understand what it means to share a space with somebody. Mm-hmm. And, like... even with roommates, it's a little different than like a sibling, for example. I feel like with the amount of time you spend together. So I feel like the expectations are a little bit more set with moving in because they've experienced something like that where like they had to sleep in the same bedroom as a sibling or something.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's like, I don't know, like you can clearly see it because it's like small stuff like sharing food. Like I find that they don't know like the whole like, oh, who gets the last bite thing. Like it's very like you know, like if you're an only child, you just assume that you get the last bite because you always do.
True.
Versus like I think when you're like in a sibling duo, like usually the younger sibling gets it, but like there is a little bit of like, oh, you know, like
yeah. Like who wants? You'll at least ask like, does anyone want this last piece?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just a lot of like little like things that I feel like it's not like bad, it's just like annoying.
I think we're also coming from this though as like people who also have siblings, where I think it helps when somebody else also understands the dynamic at least.
But I think I had a really interesting one because I was basically an only child for 12 years.
That is true.
And then I had a sister. But then by the time I was like so old that I was like, I didn't really have to deal with it. Yeah. I mean, we fought about like small stuff, but like she's so young, like
but I think you still grew up having to like have responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I think that still counts.
Yeah. It was interesting. I feel like that's why like some of it me is more like a mom than it is like an older sister.
I mean, even my brother is kind of like that. He's only 5 years older than me, so I can't imagine
being 12. Yeah. I know, we're a lifetime apart.
Yeah.
Okay, there's like a few that have the same themes. I'm gonna read them all together.
Yeah.
One of them said, "Girls that start podcasts and use their friends for content."
I mean, that's just a matter of perspective.
One person said, "Not the podcast," and then responded again, "Starting a podcast." Okay. Now that we got those out of the way, another one. When he got no friends. Red flag.
That is a red flag.
Huge red flag.
Yeah, massive.
Like, how do you not have a single friend?
Yeah. It's just concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very concerning.
Yeah.
Also, it's just like, at the end of the day, okay, number one, like, if you can't even be a good enough friend to sustain friendships, how are you going to sustain a relationship? Mm-hmm. And then number two, if you are dating this person, how are you going to spend time apart? You're going to go off and spend time with your friends and you're just going to sit home and wait for you?
I know. Oh my gosh.
I'm like, it sounds cute in concept, but like in practice it's really not.
Okay, are you okay if they have a very small friend circle though?
That's fine. I mean, I think I have a small friend circle. So
I feel like most people would disagree.
Really?
I think Well, I think there's like different like tiers of friend circles, right? Like obviously like, you know, first degree, second degree, third degree friends. And I think your first degree circle is probably smaller. But I think your second and third degrees are like pretty healthy and like larger than the average person's, I would say.
I don't know what the average is.
I don't know.
Sure.
I feel like in New York it's so biased, but I gotta think in middle of America, like y'all can't have that many friends.
That is fair.
There's just not enough people.
But yeah, I think I'm fine if they don't have a lot of friends. As long as they have, like, close friends. Mm-hmm. Like, if they spend all their time with the same 2-3 friends, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would be okay with that. I feel like it's just, like, too much of the same people over and over again.
I think I'm used to that.
Yeah.
I think that was very much the vibe, at least in high school for me, where like Rochelle, Lele, and I would hang out all the time, and that's it. And just us 3, that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's also fair because I also grew up with like one small friend group, and I was friends with them like literally. I'm still friends with them, but like we were like close up until I was like 22.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I guess I'm picturing that dynamic for a partner. I'm like, fine.
I don't know, but I feel like. I mean, that's really just, like, what I want. It's, like, I want someone who's more sociable. So if you only have, like, 3 friends, I'm just like, this probably wouldn't work out.
That's fair. I think for me, as long as they are open to getting along with my friends and meeting new people, it's fine if they only have, like, 2 to 3 friends or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one just says, men have no red flags, double exclamation mark.
Lol, who was that?
Okay. I think this is troll, but it's a girl replied twice. She said having a phone. And the second one's breathing.
True. What they're breathing for? Whose direction you breathing in?
Okay, another friend is I actually really like this one. She says a jokey one. His bed is pushed into a corner.
Okay, in New York, if anyone's bed is not pushed into a corner, they got money.
He's rich.
They got money.
Where is this space coming from?
I know.
How are you affording this extra non-corner?
Wait, what if you walk in and their bed is like, it's like your apartment and it's just in the middle?
That's honestly really fucking weird. Really fucking weird. I'd be like, why? If his bed is not against a wall, like a headboard, it's like...
How?
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he has no bed frame.
That's so questionable. Why do you not have a bed frame? How old are you to not have a bed frame? Oh my gosh. And the gray sheets.
Wait, I have gray sheets.
Okay. She said another one, serious one. Saying you're not like other girls.
Like a red flag for girls?
No, like for like the guy tells you you're not like other girls. Oh, you're so different from other girls I've seen before.
I feel like conceptually that's a red flag. But I don't know if I heard that, I would be like, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like it was never like raised to me, but I could see it now.
Yeah. But if someone popped that on me, it would work.
Fair. I would be like, oh, okay. But I wouldn't think too much of it.
Yeah. I feel like my response would be, but I am though, haha. And then that's it. And then the conversation just shuts down.
I know. And then she wrote another one, which is like her red flag.
Okay.
Which is, I generally hate men.
Fair.
Yeah. The older I get, the more true this becomes.
Yes, I agree. I feel like I used to not hate men at all. And my hatred has just been steadily growing. Yeah. Or not even hatred, but just, I feel like that's not the right word.
Disdain.
It's distaste.
Yeah.
Disdain, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm just like...
It's like...
Like, why would I want to do this with a man if I have women who are so much better and who are more intelligent?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like, how are you so old? And how have you lived so much of life? And how are you still like this?
I think that's the thing that gets me. You know how they're always like, oh, like men mature slower than women?
Yeah.
Like, why?
I know. Like, that should not be an excuse.
That's not a genetic thing either. Like,
I know.
This is like a societal thing. So it's
I
not.
know.
It is in your control.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, men get so many excuses.
I know.
Another one replied bald.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a red flag,
but it's very unfortunate.
But it's not attractive.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Some girls are into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some girls like the pitbull look, you know?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. What if he was, like, perfect, though, and bald?
Actually, if he had the right aesthetic, I could be down.
What aesthetic?
Like a very matrixy aesthetic. I feel like I could see somebody pull that off while being bald.
Interesting.
But I think my issue is I really like playing with their hair.
Mm.
And so that opportunity is robbed of me. And that's just sad for me.
That is sad for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I could deal with bald. As much as I like to think too.
I don't think I could. I think I would be open to it if the style and hotness is right. But more likely no.
Someone wrote yelling at you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Who the fuck is getting yelled at and still tall? I'd be like,
you get one warning.
Yeah. No, honestly, you don't even get a warning. You get a warning for dating. Okay? If you are dating and you yell at me, I'm out.
Yeah. If we're like living together and you yell at me, you get one warning.
Yeah. Don't ever do that again.
Like, I hate when people raise their voice at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've given you the feedback. I will never give feedback twice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Especially with that. I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, that's like, it's towing a line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. If their only hobby is traveling.
That's a red flag for me because I don't like to travel. So that means they have no hobbies. Because I don't want to go with them. So we don't have anything in common then.
True. I'm like, I kind of agree. I kind of don't. I think, like, I don't know. Like, I like traveling, so I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like, what do you do when you travel? Like, what are your interests? Because you can just, like, do that in the same city, no? Like.
But what if they really like learning about other cultures firsthand? Like, that's their thing.
Museums, art galleries.
It's not the same.
Guys, I don't know. I feel like there has to be something. Like, you have to like working out. Like, even I'll accept that as a hobby. Or like,
fitness is my passion. You got any protein shakes?
Yeah.
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, what else do you do?
Yeah, like, what else do you do with your free time?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. All right. Someone said mama's boy. We've already established I disagree on this one, but...
Let's go.
Okay. And then said, can't stop talking about his ex/money.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's, I think, really fair. Is, like, inconsistency. Like, hot and cold. Love bombing. Controlling behavior. Disrespect.
Yes.
All three. Yes.
Yes.
100%. Especially, like, love bombing. I'm just like, it's so toxic. And it's so sad to say, but I actually do think it's super fucking effective.
Yeah. But I think, maybe this is just me, I feel like love bombing is a symptom of, like, a people pleaser personality. Because I do think a lot of people, or, like, you could split them into two parties of one who uses love bombing on purpose to manipulate others. And the other who uses love bombing to prevent themselves from feeling like they're in an uncomfortable position. And I think both are bad. Like, both are very much red flags. But I also see, like, the one that is quote-unquote more innocuous. Like, it still comes from a very people-pleasing, like, they're not going to be willing to bring up
things that they're uncomfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like that's like just because, you know, you're bad doesn't mean it's an excuse, you know? Like, be better.
Yeah, figure it out.
Yes. Go to therapy. Okay, controlling behavior. I mostly agree. I do think it's sometimes hot.
But I think you draw the line where it's like, it's hot, but if you wanted to say no, you could still say no.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the difference lies. Where, like, controlling behavior is they're like, oh, like, don't hang out with this guy friend. And, like, I'm not willing to compromise on that. Or, like, don't hang out with your girl. Like, don't go out with your girlfriends. And I'm not willing to compromise on that. Like, they're just not, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And then last one is about her. So her red flag is that she's clingy.
I mean, I don't think that's a red flag.
Yeah. Do you think you're clingy?
You know, I've been told that I'm not clingy, but I feel clingy.
Interesting. I've been told I am clingy. I don't feel like I am.
I feel like I've asked this to every single one of the people that I've dated where I'm like, oh, am I being too clingy? And they're like, what? No? But I feel like I'm very needy as a partner.
Yeah, okay. I honestly don't think I am clingy. But not with my ex did, so.
Fair.
Yeah.
Who
I also
knows?
think it just depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, how do you guys balance each other?
Yeah. I mean, I think in the end, like, quote unquote clinginess is a, like, reflection of how much time you want to spend with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And that might not always align with how much time your partner wants to spend with a partner.
Yeah.
And so I think it's less so, like, that's a red flag as opposed to just, like, oh, you're just
Misalignment.
misaligned.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do think the average cadence should hit around anywhere between 2 to 4, maybe 5 days a week, depending on, like, how close you live and stuff like that. Like, if you're dating someone. If I'm not seeing you, like, twice a week, like, we're friends. We're not fucking dating, okay? You are a homie. Like, what the fuck? And, like, obviously, like, you know, one-off, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
But I'm talking, like, consistently.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. You know, like, that meme that's like, dude, I don't want to be a girlfriend anymore. I'm either going to be single or I'm going to be a wife.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way I think now.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, like, either we are not dating or I'm going to be over all the fucking time.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like now that I'm, like, getting older, it's like, and I was talking to a friend the other day, well, at least I only really have one shot. You know, like, my next relationship kind of has to be the one.
I mean, it doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to, but, like, unless it's really fucking short, I'm kind of running out of time here. So, like, I'm not gonna fucking date a guy because, like, for funsies anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like...
But I also feel like you've never dated men for funsies.
That's true.
Like, I've dated men for funsies.
I know. I feel like I'm actually at the point in my life where I kind of want to date a man for funsies. Where, like, I don't want to care about his job or, like, his
Just do
picture.
it for 4 months.
But that's such a waste of time.
But you had fun.
I guess.
Do what brings you joy.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Green flags we've slept on. What is a green flag you've overlooked in a guy?
Like, I can't think of green flags in people that I've dated where, like, I didn't think that much about it at the time. Where the last guy I dated in college...
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay. Well, okay, for context here, I've never been an acts of service type of person because, and I've since fixed this, but I think because I was the youngest child, like, I kind of expected that of people. Like, you know, people just did shit for me.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think that relationship, like, I didn't fully appreciate how acts of service he was. Where, like, he helped me with, like, my research papers, would, like, tutor me through a statistics class that I was struggling with, and, like, always made, like, custom cocktails for me every time we hung out. And, like, I didn't think that much of, like, about it at the time, because I was like, oh, this is expected from a partner.
Damn. Yeah, that is a slept on green flag.
Yeah. And I think they're just, like, very small gestures that, especially when you're so young, like, you know, it's easy to just, like, not think too hard about.
Yeah. Interesting. I feel like mine is, like, having dated someone before and being in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
After being the first girlfriend in my only 2 relationships.
True!
I'm never fucking doing that shit again.
I will tell you, it doesn't always get better.
But can it get worse? Oh.
Sometimes it does get worse.
But I'm like struggling with, like, foundational communication issues, like, or just, like, not used to, like, sharing space, or, like, not used to, like, knowing how to balance someone like that in your life. And,
But
like,
just because they've dated somebody before doesn't mean they know how to do that.
that's true. But if they've had, like, a long-term relationship, it's usually better. Like,
How
3+ years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Overlooked green flag.
But don't you ever get worried that, like, if they've dated somebody for 3+ years, they still would have feelings for them?
I don't know. I dated a guy for 8 years, and I think he's a great dude, but I would never date him again.
That's fair.
I feel like, in some ways, like, when you've lived out a relationship fully, it's easier for you to get over, because you kind of, like, know the ending to that story.
Yeah.
And you know why it won't work out.
Yeah.
Versus I feel like sometimes it's, like, the summer fling that you had, like, 2 years ago that, like, really haunts you to this day.
Fair.
You know? Yeah. Okay. Other green flags in general.
Keeps their space clean.
I
think I found that that's really important to me. Especially as I've gotten older, where, like, my patience with training a man is decreasing ever so quickly. Like, I don't want to have to tell you to run the dishwasher when it's full. Or, like, take the trash out because it's full.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, wait. I was, like, watching this TikTok today. It's about this woman who, like, has been dating this guy for, like, 16 years. And they're, like, high school sweethearts and stuff like that. And they have, like, kids together. And she almost divorced him a couple of years ago because she was just carrying so much of the mental load. Like,
yeah.
I feel like something that guys don't realize. It's, like, even the fact that I have to remind you to do these things is, like, annoying. Because, like, now I am aware of it and I have to always think of it. And it's always on my mind, even if you're actually doing it.
And I think, like, I don't know. In my mind, it, like, speaks to a bigger problem because, like, if I'm reminding you to do it once, then, and, like, I'm communicating that it's important to me, then that should now be on your mind.
Yes.
And if it's not, then this is a bigger problem.
Yeah. And I remember specifically, she was like, I think what triggered it for her was it was one day where, like, she asked me, like, unload the dishwasher in the morning because she has to, like, get the kids ready for school and stuff like that. And it's, like, a whole thing. And it's, like, if she has to do, like, chores in the morning, it's, like, so much because, like, she's, like, trying to find her youngest child's, like, favorite sippy cup and then all the dishes in the dishwasher. And it's just, like, really fucking hard to do. And he didn't do it one morning. And she was like, well, why didn't you? And she's like, oh, I was running late for work. She's like, and she was so pissed off because she's like, well, I'm fucking late for work because I had to unload the dishwasher because you didn't want to do it. And it's, like... It's exactly. It's like you're so inconsiderate of, like, how I feel and what I want. It's like you're really, like, only thinking about yourself, and you think you're doing this to make me like if you do something, it's like, oh, you'll make me happy, but it's more like you don't do it, I will be mad. You know, like, it's not like incremental happiness because you just should be doing this already. Like, this is like a basic, like, partnership.
Yeah, especially that many years in. Again, like, I can understand having that at the beginning of a relationship because, like, you don't quite know yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if that's been communicated and, like, these are your responsibilities, then, like, you know, you should be doing them.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when I have to lecture you on something, I get annoyed. Mm-hmm. Because I'm just like, this has happened multiple times. That's why it's a lecture and not a communication problem.
True.
You know, like, I don't wanna fucking treat you like you're my child.
Yeah. I'm not ready to be a mom yet. Okay.
Wow.
Other green flags?
Other green flags. I feel like I really want someone to almost like over communicate versus under communicate. Like, I would rather you be like really fucking annoying and like text me like 20 times, just like paying me random shit, than like not paying me at all and I don't know what you're doing or what you're up to. But like, I love it when a man's like, hey, like, today's like a super busy day at work for me, I'm gonna be a little bit unresponsive, just wanted to let you know.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Agreed. Ooh, other thing, I love getting like little updates on their day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's adorable.
Me too. When you little selfies.
Or just like pictures of shit, or like, oh my god, you won't believe what happened. Like, I think that's just really cute because it means that they're thinking of me.
Yeah. One thing I love that my ex did, he was doing little dumbass selfies of himself throughout the day, and be him doing like.
Okay, I would be a little cringed out by that.
I thought it would. Yeah, he did do that very well. He was very like, and like, literally, I would not respond because some days I'd be super busy at work. I wouldn't respond for like 6-7 hours. Yeah. And you just see like every 2-3 hours, he's just texting me something, sends a little selfie here and there. I'm just like, oh, yeah. So cute.
Communication.
Other green flags. When he just like buys stuff, not because it's like a event or anything, but because like it reminded you of him. Like, I love small little things. Like, it does not have to be big at all. Like, you know, just like, oh, I went by your favorite dessert shop today and I picked you up something. Or like, I don't know, I was like walking in this bookstore and you like talked about this book and I thought you would like it. And it's like, that's so cute.
Being thought of.
Yeah, it's very thoughtful.
Yeah. I don't know, even when like I had this one guy I was in a relationship with, who like he went out with his friends and then he texted me like while he was out and he's like, oh my god, I have so much tea for you when I get back. And I was like,
thank you. Oh my god.
And I was like, remember to ask for details.
Yes. When they grab the tea, they know how to grab all the like information.
Yeah.
They ask follow-up questions that you would have asked.
Yeah, I'm like, I know you don't care, but ask for me.
I want to know.
Because I'm a nosy little bitch.
Yes, I am a nosy little bitch. I love tea. My god. I kind of love a guy who likes to gossip. Like,
I know! It's just fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, I think it's also just like, you know that gossip's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree. What other green flags of men? They shower consistently.
The bar is low.
The bar is in hell.
When he fans you at the rave.
Wait, okay. When he's prepared.
Yeah.
That I actually think is like, very attractive.
Has all the things.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know if I can think of any other ones.
All right. Section 3. What are our red flags?
I think my biggest red flag in a relationship, at least, is that it takes me a while to sit with my emotions. And so something will happen and I'll bring it up a week later. Because, like, I had to sit in my discomfort to understand what I was feeling. And, like, make sure that I had it sorted out in my brain so I could communicate it right. And that takes a while. So, like, it might be a while until I bring it up again.
I don't think that's a red flag, though. I think it's just, like, a communication thing. It's only, like, a red flag if the person you're with is anxiously attached and needs to know immediately.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of the same where, like, I don't think I need I think I know what I'm feeling, but it's almost like I know I always overreact when I get into a situation. And I'm way more likely to say things I don't actually mean, or, like, you know, like, I'm just, like, really emotional at that point in time.
Yeah.
And so, like, I try to let myself cool down a little bit before I have a conversation. Otherwise, it's a little counterproductive, and I'm just, like, yelling at you because I'm mad.
Yeah.
Not because, like, or I just, like, I'm crying or, like, angry for, like, probably not things I actually feel about the situation.
Yeah, I think for me, it's, like, I'll know how I'm feeling, but it takes time for me to rationalize it and understand why. Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like I know why, but sometimes it's not always, like, a good reason. You know?
You feel how you feel.
I know. I'm like, it pissed me off that you did not get me flowers today. Did you need to get me flowers today? No. Is it a special occasion? No.
It's International Women's Day.
Oh my god, you know who is the only man that said Happy International Women's Day to me?
Who?
Jai.
Hey, you know that totally checks out.
He's like I was like, so funny. I literally texted him, I was like, it's so funny that you're the only one who texted to me. He's like, yeah, I know, I'm the most sexist feminist that you know. I'm like, that is so true.
Other red flags.
I feel like one of mine is, like, I'm, like, overly pragmatic sometimes, I feel like. I feel like sometimes I wish I, like, just followed my feelings, and, like, I feel like I cancel, like, good men because I'm just like, oh, I don't think this will work out for some future reason, even though, like, in the moment I'm enjoying myself.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think I'm the opposite. I'm not pragmatic enough.
Maybe we should start evaluating each other's relationship.
Yeah. Except we're just gonna show each other pictures and we're like, damn, he's ugly.
True. Other red flags.
I'm trying to think. Like,
okay, to be fair, I do think, like, I have, like, high expectations.
I don't think that's a bad thing, though.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But, you know, does he need to be above 6 foot?
Fair. Fair.
Does he need to be really jacked?
I guess maybe my red flag is I do care about how he dresses a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just such an interesting aesthetic that actually eliminates so many men.
Yeah. Or at least they have to have the features of that aesthetic. And I can dress him. That's fine. They gotta be open to it, though. But, like, they have to look like they'd be able to pull it off. Because I do think it's an aesthetic that not everybody can pull off. Yeah.
I feel like mine is, like, I want a person who is ideally more adventurous and more, like, outdoorsy than I am. Which is, like, I'm coming to learn a higher than normal bar.
Yes, that's correct.
I always thought, like, I was just, like, outdoorsy for, like, a woman. But I think I'm just outdoorsier than the average person.
Yes, that's correct.
I was like, like, you feel like, you know, this would not work out. You name a red flag for me, and I'll name one for you.
Ooh. I don't know. From a guy's perspective, I would be like, oh, you go out a lot.
Yeah, I feel like the partying thing is like...
Yeah.
But that's like... I feel like we can't do that, because that's so probably true for both of
Yeah.
us.
It's hard to get past that one. You have a lot of very close guy friends. Yeah.
Accurate.
And a lot of close guy friends you have previously been involved with.
Yeah. You know what's also interesting that someone commented? He's like, why are all your close guy friends tall? And I was like, I never even really noticed that, but that is kind of true. Yeah. And I feel like generally good looking. Not always my type, but generally good looking.
Red flag.
I feel like, I don't know if it's a red flag, but I feel like you got more dates with a person than you are actually interested in that person.
Yeah.
You go on so many dates, and I'm just like, you don't even like this man. How are you on a fourth date? If I'm on a fourth date with a man, like, I'm probably gonna date him.
I feel like it takes a long time for me to open up to somebody or get comfortable. That I'm like, I need many dates with them before I decide that I want to date them.
But I feel like I eliminate... by the third date, it's not about, like, me opening up. It's just, like, I'm, like... If they open up to me, and I'm, like, nope. It don't matter what I give out. I'm just, like, you are not it for me.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I feel like you, like let it go on for longer.
Yeah, I'll entertain it. If there's not that much going on, I'm like...
Yeah,
whatever. The attention's fun.
Yeah.
Attention whore.
That's true. I love attention.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Yeah. Other than that, though, I'm perfect.
I know. I'm great.
Yeah. And I can fix men.
Exactly.
I can fix them.
We love a project.
I'm ambitious.
I know. I'm ambitious. The more work that needs to be fixed, the better.
I know. I love a challenge.
You know what we always say, a red flag that it's self-aware is just an orange flag.
Sure.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I feel like I've grappled with this question a lot where, like, is it better to not know? Or is it better to be self-aware and not want to do anything to fix it?
I also think it depends what is the red flag, you know? Like the male friends thing? I'm aware. I'm fixing it.
But, like, would it be better if you weren't aware? From a partner's perspective? I guess it depends on how you would react once you became aware.
Yeah.
So.
Outro. Rapid fire hot takes. Alright. Checking his phone on a date. Acceptable or toxic?
How frequent? If it's infrequently, acceptable. If it's very frequently, toxic.
Alright. Going on a trip with an ex. Acceptable or toxic?
Toxic. What kind of question is that?
I think it depends on the trip.
Nope. Toxic.
Really? What is it the giant friend group? Like, going to a music festival. And the ex just there.
Okay, that question makes it sound like they were on a trip 101.
Yeah, I agree. 101 is fucking weird.
Yeah, like, why?
Never. Ever. Like, I don't care if you dated when you were childhood. Why are you going to... why are you on a trip with a girl?
If it's a big group trip, it's acceptable if I'm invited.
What if you're not invited, but it is a big group trip? Like, it's like a bachelor party or something like that.
I think I would be uncomfortable with it. And I would express my discomfort. And if they still went, then that's toxic.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, last one. Dating your best friend's ex.
Toxic. Yeah.
Toxic.
That's
You
weird.
have no loyalty.
Yeah.
How the fuck are you dating them?
Why are you even talking to them?
Yeah. It's weird. Bro, oh my god, if anyone tried to date my exes, I don't care. I don't care if I dated them when I was fucking 12. Why are you talking to them? You are my friend. You're my best friend.
Yeah, that's weird.
You know? Anyways, that's a wrap.
All right.